This is Rob Temple for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted to be joined by the Commonwealth Cruiserweight Champion, Chris Billam Smith. We're here at the University of Kent in Canterbury. How are you, Chris? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, mate. Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. Yourself?
Not bad, thanks. Not bad. Always a pleasure to come down to McGuigan's gym and speak to the stable. How was it being introduced as the Commonwealth Champion, your first title as a professional?
Yeah, it's nice. It's one step on the journey. It's nice to hold the belt now. Like I said before, I was the only one in the gym who hadn't won one, so I was due one. So it's nice to feel a bit more part of the gym. So yeah, it's all good.
Now, I haven't spoken to you since you won that title. Well, I haven't interviewed you since you won that title against Craig Glover. Talk to me a little bit about your performance there. I had a little bit of time to look back.
Yeah, it was decent performance. I knew I'd had the power to hurt Craig and do the job I did. I was very focused on the night. It wasn't the best version of me in there, I don't think, but I didn't feel like I wasn't getting hurt or anything. So I think I got a bit lackadaisical at times. I was just trading with him. Which in the end obviously paid off, but against certain opponents, other opponents, maybe I couldn't do that with. Don't get me wrong, Craig does punch hard, but it was just the way I was catching him just before he was catching me and stuff. But performance as a whole was alright. You know, it was good to get back to winning ways after the Riakporhe fight. So the record's now got that W. So and obviously got my first belt. So. Maybe I'm a bit harsh on myself at times, but there's plenty of improvements to be made, and that's, as always after every fight, it's always about improving, whether you win, lose or draw.
You mentioned the Riakporhe fight. Obviously it's something that we've spoken about at the time as coming early in your career and taking that step-up fight. How did you feel going into this fight, having already had that step up, admittedly in a narrow loss to Richard Riakporhe, but it was on a big stage, it was at the O2 Arena, and you go from that into another big fight, or another fight against a capable opponent like Craig Glover. How much did you feel that you benefited from the Riakporhe fight on fight night against Craig Glover?
Yeah, it was another 50-50, so I felt straight after the Riakporhe fight I knew the experience. It gave me a lot more confidence, and I would have had the rematch straight away. But yeah, we got the Glover fight, and I felt there was a lot more pressure on the Glover fight than there was in the Riakporhe fight. But the experience from the Riakporhe fight helped me massively, and obviously going 10 rounds, and then obviously this one was scheduled for a 12-rounder, so it was nice to be a second camp and doing longer rounds, etc. But the experience from the Riakporhe fight was it was invaluable in moving forward in my career in general, and especially for the Glover fight.
Now, since the last time I interviewed you, you've also made your debut as Sky Sports, what would you call it, analyst? On your analyst debut for the Richard Riakporhe Jack Massey fight. How was that? What was that experience like? Yeah,
it was good. It was something new for me. I was quite surprised when they asked me, in a way. Obviously, I've boxed Jack as an amateur, and obviously Riakporhe in the pros, but it was good fun. I put up at York Hall. They looked after me, Sky Sports, so thanks very much for that. But yeah, it was good. I don't know what the role was called. Maybe expert analysis, maybe. But no, I really enjoyed it, and it was good fun. So hopefully, I can get another gig doing that at some point in the future.
Your stablemate Lawrence Coley told me that he turned it down, so they offered it to you.
I find that hard to believe.
What did you make of the fight itself, Richard Riakporhe versus Jack Massey? In a lot of people's eyes, it was a lot more competitive than they perhaps thought going in. What did you make of the fight?
I said that I thought Riakporhe would win on points beforehand, and due to experience. But on the night I actually had Jack winning. I haven't watched it back properly yet. Watched a few rounds here and there, but I had Jack winning. I think I had him up 2 rounds at the end of the fight. So Richard, he looked. I thought he'd made a lot of adjustments in the first round, and then it just all went to pot, and it was same old Richard Riakporhe throughout the rest of the fight. He didn't seem like he doesn't really seem like he improves a lot. He's just got his things that he's good at. I thought that he could have had a point taken off. The knockdown, at the time I thought it was a knockdown, but I haven't seen the replay back of it, but everyone's told me that it wasn't. So once again he's got another free knockdown, like he did against me, point taken off, which he should have had a point taken off. So the luck's going to run out eventually, whether that's before I get to him or not, we'll see. But I believe Jack proved his worth, and he's right up there now with myself and Richard and the rest of us in division, and he's going to be in some really, really good fights.
You mentioned it was kind of more of the same from Richard Riakporhe. Elaborate on that a little bit.
Big winging punches. Even when he had Jack hurt, he can't finish anyone, it doesn't seem. The only person he's finished at a higher level is Tommy McCarthy. But even that, he wasn't landing clean, and it wasn't knocking him out cold. His finishing's awful, I think. Like, considering how big a puncher he is and how experienced he is now, you'd expect better. But that being said, he's found a way to stay in the fight or win it. And sometimes, like I said, I believe I had Jack up at the time. But yeah, it's same old rhythm, same punches. He's got strengths. I'm not saying he's an awful fighter, because he's not. He is a good fighter and he's good at what he does. But same old with the holding and things like that. And he was just looked a bit uncomfortable at times as well. And Jack had him hurt a couple of times as well. With the body shots and stuff, but with regards to same old, it was same old holding, and not many adjustments had been made.
You mentioned the holding. Obviously, that's something that cropped up in your fight with Richard Riakporhe as well. How difficult does that make it to work in there, or what goes through your mind when you've got somebody who is leaning on you and holding? How difficult does that make a fight?
You can't use it as an excuse. You've got to find a way around it, and that's something. It's the ref's job to stop them holding and warn them, which he got warnings, but then deduct points when suitable, which I believe definitely in the Massey fight. Obviously, he didn't even get a warning in our fight, which I was shocked at. He stopped for a round when he got the warning, I think, in the Massey fight, but then he continued to hold after that round for the last 3-4 rounds. I think he got the warning in the 8th round maybe, and then the rest of that round he didn't really hold, and then 9th he started holding again, 10th, 11th and 12th he seems to be holding quite a lot, but it makes it difficult, but it's a tactic of his which he'll continue using until he's punished for it, and it's up to his opponents to find a way around it. You can't use it as an excuse. You can't go into the fight and go, oh yeah, but it was just because he was hugging, because you know he's going to do that, and everyone who fights now knows he's going to do that, so you have to find a way to adjust and expect him to hold the whole fight and the ref not to take any points off, and almost go in there with that mindset, and that's what you've got to deal with. So that's the way you can't make excuses going into a fight.
What's the plan for you now moving forward? Obviously, you're now Commonwealth champion, which brings with it its own, you're going to have people hunting you now, as opposed to in the past where you've been looking for these big fights. When can we expect to see you back in the ring? Obviously, I've just spoken to Shane. Shane said there's a potential for you having your own show, essentially, down in Bournemouth on the south coast, which is, I know, something that we've spoken about in the past. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, that's what we're trying to work on at the moment, is a show back home in March. So that'd be amazing. Like I said before, we've never had as far as I'm aware, there's never been a televised professional show in Bournemouth. We've had shows down there. Obviously, I've had 4 or 5 fights down there at a smaller venue. But it'd be amazing. The town is buzzing about boxing in general. We've had shows with evening withs down there with Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, which have been packed out. There's a Floyd Mayweather coming down to Poole as well. So we're going to have Floyd Mayweather in Poole, which is pretty pretty weird, not gonna lie. But at a venue which my old amateur club runs shows at, they have their dinner shows there, so it's gonna be at the same venue as that. Nice little venue. But so boxing in the town is big. There's loads of amateur clubs. I think it's the most populated county in the Western County region. So there's loads of clubs down there now. Amateur boxing clubs, and then you've got all the whole white collar scene, which is everywhere in the country at the moment. And then we've got a few of us pros going on down there. So it's me, Lee Cutler, Jack Simpson. Then you've got the lads from Southampton, Joe Pigford, Jack Killier, and Joseph Butler, and them boys. So we're looking at hopefully putting on a show down there with us lot on it. And then so that'd be unbelievable. It'd be great to make some history and defend my belt back home. And I think I didn't box at home last year, so last time I boxed home was December 2018 in Bournemouth. So it'd be great to bring a show. It was Nottingham, London and Liverpool last year, so it'd be great to bring a show back home and defend my belt back home. It'd be a real honour.
We've spoken in the past about kind of the support that you take wherever you box, really, from Bournemouth, but being able to bring a show down there and potentially, start having regular shows down in Bournemouth, what would it mean for you to be kind of the pioneer of that and be kind of the focal point, certainly for the first few shows?
I think pioneer's a bit strong, but
groundbreaking.
But I'm just further on in my career than the other lads, and I've had the exposure, and I think that's all it is really. It's great to be involved in that and be involved in that scene, and help my mates who I was amateurs with, like Lee Cutler and Jack Simpson, build their profiles and careers and help them get on the show and prove themselves in the same manner. The same opportunities I've had with being on undercards for myself. And so it's great to be able to bring a show back home and to spearhead whatever happens in the future. It'd be great if we can get regular shows down there. I'd absolutely love that.
Show at Bournemouth FC maybe sometime in 2020, 21, 22?
AFC Bournemouth for a start, not Bournemouth.
AFC Bournemouth.
They got a game tonight, actually, massive game tonight against Brighton.
You just hold the microphone, talk to the microphone while I go and shut the door. Go on, pretend I'm still there.
So we've got. I'd love to put a show on there down in at the stadium one day. Who knows if go well enough, win my next 5-6 fights, could have it summer 2021. Fingers crossed we'll still be in the Premier League. Either way, I'd love it. Either in the Championship or the Premier League. That'd be the dream. And it's getting closer and closer. I'd absolutely love that.
What's that like for you? Because not every fighter, not anybody really can always. I'm a big Chelsea fan, and I don't have any contacts with anyone at Chelsea. And if anybody ever asked me to go and, I don't know, interview somebody there, not that they ever would, I'd be absolutely made up. So it must be such a privilege and such a pleasure for yourself to be not only thinking about this, but also you're in regular contact with Bournemouth, and that must be great. Yeah,
I know a lot of the people at the club, but it's different from other clubs as well. I think it's quite a community club. They do a lot of stuff around Bournemouth with charities, and everyone's very down to earth within the club. Like, we've got the same staff there, same announcer who announces the games has been there since I had a season ticket there 17 years ago. So it's very much the staff all the way through have been there from the bottom of League Two to the Premier League. So it's very much a community club. So it's nice that the ethics and the morals and the way they conduct themselves is all community based. So it's nice to be involved in that. And I think any other Premier League club, obviously, it wouldn't even be a possibility for me. We've got a small stadium, we're a small town. I'm well aware I'm very fortunate and lucky in that sense that I've got contacts at the club, and that it is a smaller stadium and it is a smaller club, even though we are in the Premier League. It's nice because I've been invited. I've met the chairman. Went for dinner with the chairman for an Everton game this year with my fiancée. So that was really nice to sit down with him and his wife. And I actually spoke to him then and said, my dream's to fight here at the stadium one day. And he said, I remember this conversation. So fingers crossed I can bring that up with him again soon and get planning. But yeah, it's a real nice to be involved in the club, and I absolutely love it.
We'll start like a boxing social campaign for you. How's that?
Sounds good. Fingers crossed I won't need too many campaigns, but just keep focusing on the next fight, and then we'll work from there.
Okay, well, before I let you go, just a quick word on your stablemate, Mr. Okoli, who we're waiting for an announcement on him potentially challenging for the vacant WBO World Cruiserweight title against Krzysztof Glowacki. Talk to me about the fight.
Yeah, great opportunity for Lawrence. Obviously, he's cleared up domestically, won the British Commonwealth. Now he won the European in his last fight, and it was a convincing win once again. Stoppage of a very good opponent in Garbu, and then he's ranked highly with the WBO, so he's got the potentially, hopefully, he gets a Glowacki fight, which is they're in talks. So. Great fight. I think it's a good fight for him. Glowacki is a very, very, very respectful and respected fighter in the division. To beat him would prove a lot of doubters wrong, because I know a lot of people give Lawrence a lot of grief sometimes for his style, but he keeps winning. So I don't see how you can give him too much grief about people keep on winning. I guess there's a bit of the Mayweather-esque sort of people, same with them. People used to hate watching Mayweather towards the end of his career. A lot of casual fans did, because it was boring. But you know, if they're winning, why does it matter? At the end of the day, the idea is hit and don't get hit. So, and that's what Lawrence does. Very effective. Interesting fight. Glowacki is coming off a loss to Breedis, but he got hurt a couple of times. Very weird ending, obviously, to the fight. Very weird fight. But he's always going to be dangerous, and it's a very, very tough fight for Lawrence. But I believe he'll come through it. He'll use all his attributes, and he'll have to use all his attributes. But I believe he's got the power. We saw Glowacki was in trouble against Breedis, and I think Lawrence probably punches harder than Breedis, as long as he sets up his attacks correctly, which he will. Him and Shane will have a good game plan, and I believe he'll knock him out.
Paving the way for Billam Smith versus Okoli at AFC Bournemouth in summer of 2021. Chris Billam Smith, always a pleasure. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. First time I've interviewed you sat on the stairs. I think quite suits you. I think maybe it makes you look a bit like sort of thing that you'd have expected to see on like a cover of a Streets album or something. Somebody sat in a tracksuit on the stairs. Do you like it?
I'm a big fan of the Streets, mate. You know that. So yeah, I like that. Got on the full Puma tracksuit. Are we getting a pan of that? No, I don't have to. But I'm just saying. And Puma trainers and Marmite socks. So you either love it or you hate it.
What? We can pan on the socks.
Yeah. Do you want me? You got to have both socks. Sorry, you got to have both socks. The reason. Let me move up.
The camera this way is never a good thing. Okay. Oh my God.
You love it or you hate it, mate.
Yeah, they're definitely Marmite socks.
Maybe I'm a bit more.
Okay. Well, Chris Billam Smith and his Marmite socks and his Commonwealth title are going to go now. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. I'm sure I'll catch up with you before too long. Speak to you soon.
Cheers, Rob. Nice one.
Cheers, mate.